They told you to be realistic, to lower your expectations, to stop chasing the impossible. But the truth is, the world has never been moved by those who settled for what is. It has always been transformed by those who dared to see what could be. Every great empire began in the silence of one mind that refused to settle. Edison, pacing through the night with soot on his hands and fire in his soul. Carnegie, carving an empire from steel and vision. Ford, building freedom on 4 wheels. They were not born with the answers. They were born with hunger, and they never allowed that hunger to be tamed by comfort. The world bends to those who refuse to bow. Every mountain yields to the climber who refuses to stop. Every barrier breaks for the mind that refuses to accept limitation as law. Because here's the truth. Settling is the silent killer of potential. It is the slow death of the dreamer who once saw the world differently, until society told them to be practical. But look closer. Every person you admire today was once told to be realistic. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. Einstein was labeled slow. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. Yet none of them listened, because their minds were not built to settle. They understood a law far deeper than logic, the law of faith made visible. The moment you decide what you truly want and refuse to let go of it, the universe begins to rearrange itself to deliver it. Circumstances shift, people appear, paths open, because thought, when held with conviction, becomes a living force. Napoleon Hill called it the definite major purpose, the burning obsession that refuses to die. Not a wish, not a fleeting desire, but an inner command that echoes through every cell of your being. I will not stop until I become what I was meant to be. And that is the essence of power, to hold a vision so fiercely that the world itself must yield. Most people never reach this point. They dream, yes. They wish, yes. But when resistance comes, when the world tests them, they fold. They mistake the test for a sign to quit. But those who understand the laws of success know that the test is proof that the vision is real. You see, life will always ask one question before granting your desire. Do you truly mean it? And it will test you through failure, ridicule, and long seasons of nothingness. Not because the universe is cruel, but because it must ensure that your faith is stronger than your fear. That's what separates the great from the forgotten. Not luck, not talent, but endurance of belief. The refusal to settle when everything inside you screams to surrender. The mind that refuses to settle learns to transmute pain into power. It learns to turn rejection into refinement. It learns that temporary defeat is not failure, it is instruction. Every setback is simply feedback, a signal guiding you toward mastery. Edison failed 10,000 times before the light stayed lit. Imagine if he had settled after the first 1,000. The darkness you see around you is not permanent. It is only there to reveal who truly believes in the light. The world you live in is a mirror. It reflects not what you wish for, but what you expect. Expectation is the vibration of your faith. It's the frequency of your inner command to the universe. When you expect greatness, truly, deeply, relentlessly, the universe responds in kind. But when you expect average, you receive average. Most people say they want success, but their faith vibrates at the level of survival. They pray for abundance while preparing for lack. They speak of freedom while worshiping their fears. You cannot attract what you secretly doubt. You cannot rise while your mind is chained to hesitation. And that is why the power lies in the mind that refuses to settle, because it refuses to compromise its vibration. When your belief becomes absolute, creation becomes inevitable. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer beg, you command. Because your mind and your spirit are aligned with the frequency of your purpose. Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But few understand the depth of that truth. Conceiving is imagination, believing is vibration, achieving is alignment. When all three become one, the impossible becomes routine. Let me tell you something powerful. You were not born to settle for existence. You were born to command creation. Your thoughts are blueprints. Your emotions are energy. Your actions are signals to the universe. And the life you see around you is simply the reflection of what you've been willing to tolerate. If you don't like what you see, don't fight the mirror, change the image. Rewire the thought. Raise the frequency. Decide again. Decide with fire this time. Most people settle because they forget their original design. They forget that the mind is not a servant of circumstance, it is the architect of circumstance. You are not a product of your past. You are the creator of your future. You are not trapped in the system. You are the one who can design a new one. Every great builder, from Da Vinci to Jobs, understood that the world was clay in the hands of imagination. They refused to accept reality as fixed. They bent it, they shaped it, and that is what you must learn to do, to see the world as it could be, not as it is. Faith is not waiting for proof. Faith is creating proof through persistence. The mind that refuses to settle does not wait for permission. It declares, "This will be," and moves as if it already is. Because when belief is absolute, the universe has no choice but to respond. Think of the oak tree. The seed does not beg the soil for permission to grow. It simply unfolds according to its design. The same law governs you. The same intelligence that built the stars flows through your thoughts, waiting for command. And yet, most people command it with fear, with doubt, with self-pity. But the awakened mind commands it with vision, purpose, and relentless belief. The power to transform your life begins in a single, defiant decision. I refuse to settle. Refuse to settle for average. Refuse to settle for excuses. Refuse to settle for fear. Refuse to settle for the version of yourself that others are comfortable with. Because every time you choose comfort over growth, you trade your future for a feeling. Every time you choose doubt over action, you silence the voice of your destiny. And every time you settle, the universe withholds what it was ready to give, not as punishment, but as consequence. Growth requires demand, and demand comes from refusal. Refuse the mediocrity of your old patterns, and you invite the birth of your higher self. Discipline is the language of faith. Gratitude is the magnet of abundance. Vision is the architect of destiny. And persistence is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. This is the sacred sequence of creation. Every great achiever, consciously or unconsciously, follows it. They see it in their mind, feel it in their soul, act upon it in faith, and reality must bend. That is not magic. That is law. It is the same law that governs the rising of the sun, the pull of gravity, and the beating of your heart. And when you align your thoughts with this law, life ceases to be a struggle, it becomes a flow of intelligent purpose.